Hello, everyone. Move my drink out of the way. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It is I, James, here again, streaming and painting today. We got our ubiquitous Space Marine back. Simple, quick tabletop paint scheme that we're going for him. We're going to be doing some, what do you call it? Some more detail work today, getting some more colors on this model, and trying to show how easy it is to do things that a lot of people think are not easy. That's not true. Things are easy. Some things you just have to learn how to do. Okay. So we're going to start out with today is we're going to wait a couple minutes and see if anyone's in our chat. I don't know. I don't think anybody's in our chat today right now. But this will be recorded. You can come back and watch it at any time, which is what's great about this format. All right. That's going to be our focus right now. Our Space Marine. So he's looking a little plain still. We have an edge highlight. We have a layer of the contrast ultramarines color, which we used last time, and the Temple Guard blue for the highlight that we did on it. Again, this is one way to get some models done very quickly and get them on the table. It's not necessarily the best way, but it's a way to get it done. What we're going to do today, what we're going to start out with, is we're going to do some detail on this shoulder pad. We got this shoulder pad right here, and traditionally on a Space Marine, the shoulder pad on the, what is that, his right-hand side, our left, dictates what type of unit he belongs to. A tactical Marine, which is what he would be considered, or intercessor Marine, troop choice would have an arrow pointing up somewhere on the shoulder pad, typically taking up the majority of the pad here in the center, and sometimes inside of it, or on the side, or sometimes on the knee pad, they'll have the unit that he is attached to. So what we're going to do today is we're going to paint that on there. We're going to do 2 layers on that. We're going to use our Celestial Gray base coat from GW, which is a very good paint. It's a it's a very light gray blue. One of the things that I've learned over the course of my experiences is never try to paint white. White is a very bad color to paint. It comes out very chalky and difficult to make it look good. There are some ways around it, but in my opinion, painting shades of gray is the way that you want to paint white. All right, our next color that we're going to use with that is going to be this model color, which is a Vallejo paint. You can use Games Workshop white. My pot of Games Workshop white is actually dead. It's called Corax white, I believe. But this is similar, almost identical. Model color white paint. All right. So a lot of people go, oh no, I can't paint freehand details on my models. When you break things down to basic shapes and what they are, you can pretty much do any. It makes it very simple. So where are we? We're right here. We're going to go ahead and take our wet palette. We talked about last week. I'm going to put some paint on it. Now, over the course of months, this has been thinned down a little bit, so I don't have to get this add too much water to it to make it the texture that we need it. Or you want it to roll off the paintbrush like that. Get yourself a nice tip. nice tip on the brush. If your brush is all splayed out and, you know, if it looks like this, you want to throw the brush away. Even when it starts to get bad and gets to this shape, it's time to get a new brush. Sometimes you can get it to regulate itself by getting it wet, but it's not worth it. If you're not buying expensive sable brushes, you should never have a problem. $5, $6 a brush, maybe. Money's an issue. Save your brushes, keep care of them. Never get paint into this part of the brush. It'll ruin the brush very quickly. So in order to do a arrow on this, our tactical squad marking, what you want to do is you want to find the center of the model, center of the shoulder pad. Let me get back in there and angle him. Okay, center of the shoulder pad, which is right here. I want to draw a line straight down. Just like that. You're halfway there. Okay, we take our line, then we draw another line across. Keep it as horizontal as possible. All right, now you got a cross. And if you connect this point to here, this point to there, fill that in. Now you have a triangle. And then we just take our center line that we drew down and we just add a little bit to the one side and add a little bit to the other side, keeping it even. There you go. What was that, 30 seconds? Then you can go back in. You can fix anything that didn't work out the way you wanted to. It's one of the things with painting that I really enjoy is that you can go back in and change things up, edit on the fly. As long as your paint's nearby and you have the color to fix it with, you can go ahead and fix any mistakes that you might have made. So like over here, I'm not liking exactly how that turned out, so I'll come in and I'll solid that line up a little bit. And the same over here. Nice and done. So that's your first part of painting that. Now if you want to really make this thing stand out, we go ahead and have the base color the gray. Take our other paint, shake it up a whole bunch. And let's see what's the white is trying to escape. We're going to take our pure white and we're going to mix that with the gray. And we're going to go for an off-white. When you see the two colors next to each other, you can see how different these look, that the celestial gray looks so much darker. And on the model, it really doesn't look that dark. But compared to pure white, it's very dark. You want to get about a mid-tone color. So get yourselves a nice mid-tone color. Oh, Sabrina, hey! Okay, so then we're in there now. And what we're going to do is we're going to go right to the middle of this, and we're going to just draw a nice line in the middle. A little bit to the left and a little bit to the right. We're going to leave some of that gray showing. Oh, I got a little bit on the purity seal. So we're going to clean the brush off and then we're going to go in and soak that paint up right off. Go back in with red and fix that later. Super easy. And then we're going to do the same thing in the middle. Make a nice little small triangle in the middle of this. And what that's going to do, it's going to give you a trick. It's going to make the model look like it has depth on it. So you're going to have, let me see if I can get a better focus on this. Focus. Come on, camera. There we go. It's a little bit better. So to the camera's eye, it doesn't look really that much different, but to the actual human eye, what you're going to see is it's going to look like there's a gradient, the color's splitting from the center and then going to a darker color on the outside. And that causes it to look like it's a raised area. Then we can go more white, and we're going to do a smaller line in the middle. And then small triangle. And let that dry. And that will make that really stand out. So now he has his tactical squad marking. Now, like I said, this is the simplest way of doing it. You can be much more detailed, and you can paint different styles of arrows. It doesn't have to be a solid arrow like this. You can do one that has an outline of an arrow around it. You would just either make the what's a good way of describing it? Outline it again using your two or three colors around the outside, or going in and making this bigger and then lining the inside of it with the blue that you're using, Ultramarines blue, or McCrag blue, as I believe it's called for GW. Okay. Now on the other shoulder pad, they put the chapter markings. The Ultramarines use a inverted omega symbol as their chapter marking. The Ultra. We're going to be doing the same thing on this shoulder pad, marking him as an Ultramarine. If you didn't know what he was before, you're going to know now. He's a Smurf. So this is a little more difficult. The way that I do these, and there's different ways of doing this, including slide transfers or getting molded shoulder pads themselves. But I'm not good at doing slide transfers. I can't do them. I can never get them to look right, except on flat surfaces. So I learned how to paint them. And to me, it's not that much more difficult compared to using slide transfers. So you can either go completely upside down and draw an omega symbol, or you can just draw the U like this. The more stylized you make it, to me, makes it easier to do, because it hides your mess ups if you mess it up. Unevenness, because you have a curved shoulder pad. So what I'm going to do, what I normally do, is I draw a little hash mark here. I need more paint. Sorry. Some more of this on there. The white took over. Yeah. Draw me a little hash mark. Then go to the other side. Draw another little hash mark. So he's looking kind of memey. He's, And then just do a big U-y circle. So what I do is I grab that and I bring it down. To the bottom. And then the other one, grab that, bring that over and down. Connect the two right at the bottom. Now you're only using the tip of your brush when you do this. If you're using more than the tip of your brush, if you're trying to use the body of the brush, it's just going to splay everywhere. You don't want to do that. You just want to use the tip of the brush. And like I said last time, you want to brace. You want to use the paint handle or your palm, if you're holding without a paint handle, brace against your palm. It'll keep everything very steady. That helps a lot. A lot of people complain, oh, I have shaking hands, I can't do that. If you brace, everything shakes at the same speed. And it allows you to do pretty much anything you need to. So it does look uneven if you look at it. So what I said about making it stylized, or cult symbol almost, is I take on mine, I flare the ends out of the top of the U. Flare that side out. Flare that side out. And then on the actual U part, I flare it towards the bottom. Make the bottom fat and leave the top skinny. The connecting to the flares on the top. So you can fix what you think might not look good. Flare it down a little bit for me. Depending on where you centered yours, you might need to flare it up. And give it a little thickness. It'll help make it look more balanced, as it'll take up more surface area. If it's very skinny, if something's very skinny, the eye draws attention to that, and if it's not centered or balanced, if it's too skinny, it'll be more noticeable. See? A nice U. Now that is legitimately not straight across the top. So that's not. And that's okay. It's very difficult to keep a line straight across the top like that. Even if you can, it's not going to be very noticeable on the table. When it's down on the table and looking at it, what you're going to see is, oh my god, that person actually painted the ultramarine symbol on there. Did you use slide transfers? No, I didn't. I painted that on. I'm just going to give you big old kudo points. So we're going to go ahead back with that lighter mix, the gray-white that we had from before. And we're going to put some highlight lines on this. Where are we? There we are. We're going to do the inside of this again, just like we did the arrow. This time we're going to bring this mostly to the edge on the inboard side on both of these. We're not going to go to the outboard side edge. Need a little bit more paint. And then we're going to do a line down the center of this part. And then on the U, you want to pick where you are. See, I screwed that up a little bit, didn't I? I made that too thick towards the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back and grab the color that we used to make this armor, which is an ultramarine blue. All right, I have Vallejo's Game Color Ultramarine Blue. I don't have a working pot of McCrag Blue. My pot of McCrag Blue that I opened today, see if I can find it. Here it is yeah, it's no good. It's separated and is garbage. So what you would want to use if you have access to GW paints, the Calgar Blue, McCrag Blue. I don't have that right now, and I'm not about to run out in the middle of the stream to go get it. So I'm going to use what I have on hand, which is Ultramarine Blue, which is a near identical color. And this probably needs to be mixed more. Mix this a little more. The Google's computer system has noticed that I'm doing painting stuff, so it has been advertising me a vortex mixer for paints, I think used in the nail polish industry. And I actually might go in and get one. If it's under 20 bucks, I'll probably get one. Ooh, more paint. Yes, it is. Sorry if I don't get back to the chat enough. Like I said, my computer monitor is all the way over here, and I'm all the way over here. All right, so what I said over here, I made this a little too... Come on, focus in on this. I don't like how I made that. See if I can even zoom in on it. That's not in. That's in. I don't like how I made that. I like this side better than this side. So what I'm going to do is I got a little bit of the ultramarine blue. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to clean it up. And what we call this is cutting it in. If you're an actual painter, like a house painter, they call this cutting in. Is going into an area that has a corner, and you just get that in there and you chop that in there. Bring it in. And this is what I love about painting, is you can go in there and you can fix that right up. Makes that nice and tight. This color is a little different, but it'll definitely work. I think I like this color better. And there you go. Quick, easy ultramarine logo. Tactical Squad logo. Ultramarine logo. Get the paint off my brush. All right, next thing we're going to do is on this model is we got our little logos done now. We got our Purity Seal red. We'll come back to the paper in a little while. Is we're going to go ahead and hit up this bolter. Now, Games Workshop has changed how they want their bolters to look over the course of years. What they used to have on an ultramarine, the bolter housing, red, because red and blue, highly contrast, makes it stand out a great deal. Now, they do them in a black. So it's really up to you. You can paint it any color you want. You can paint it purple if you wanted to, or gunmetal. We're going to go ahead with the traditional red, though, because I just think the way that the red looks is better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for and find my Blood Angels Contrast Red, which is this is a fantastic color also. And we're going to take this color and we're going to go over this gray that's on there. And this is going to come out very dark. And I know this. I know it's going to come out dark because the darker your undercoat, the darker your overcoat color with the contrast paints ends up being. So on this, you're going to get it all over pretty much everywhere you want to be red. And we're going to do the housing, and we're going to leave the clip, and we're going to leave the pistol grip in the back of the gun in the gray. And we're going to paint that a different color. Go in there and you block this in. Just be mindful not to get it to places you don't want it to be. We're going to paint over that anyway, so it's okay. But the less cleanup you have to do, the better, right? I might need to get my assistants out. Block that in nice. Now there's an Imperial Aquila on this that we're also going to pick out later. You can see it right there. It'll lighten it when this paint dries. It'll lighten itself up. and it'll look much different. You'll be able to see it a lot easier. Where are we at here? Top there, we got top there. Underneath this here scopy scope. Now in 9th edition 40K came out a little while ago. I think just over a year now at this point. And the new Space Marine Codex came out to update to the new rules. Let me tell you, these guys in the new Space Marine Codex are pretty good. They're a staple must-have in any Space Marine army you play, so it's not like you can't not have them. But intercessors are pretty good. So you're going to want to get your hands on these guys. They come in almost every start collecting box, which you can get at Third Universe, which is the comic book store in Croton-on-Hudson. We also do collectible card games, Magic and Pokemon, as well as computer repair and printing repair if you need to have any of your printing needs remedied. Sure, Sonia does that a lot better than I do. The speech. Like I said, you just want to try to avoid places you're going to paint a different color, even though we're going to paint it a completely different color. And one bolt gun casing. Some in there on the inboard side. Over here, I'm not going to lie, this is where you get kind of messy. Get in there to try not to get any on the Marine himself. Nobody's going to see that part. If you're worried about painting that for competition, for painting, paint it with the guns off of the model. And you'll be able to paint the chest eagle and the gun significantly better. With what we're doing a tabletop ready, quick, more than basic standard. All right. One red bolt gun casing. Now, like I said, this red is very dark compared to our other red. That's okay. We're going to let that dry. Brush cleaned off. And while that's drying, we're going to go ahead and pick out our metallic. We're going to go with a bolt gun or gunmetal. The color GW uses is called Lead Belcher. And I don't believe I have a working pot of Lead Belcher either. But I have been using my Vallejo gunmetal, which is a 1-for-1 for the Lead Belcher color. All right. What we're going to use this for, we're going to go ahead and get some of this out. Slide that up. It's right there. And grab some of this nice gunmetal. So on your model, you have a lot of these areas. Clean that off. Like right here, in between the armor plates, there are ribbing where the Space Marine moves around with. Back of the knees, inside the elbows. There's also cabling on the models here, there, some vents, and parts of the bolt gun that we're going to want to paint this color. So again, we're going to get some paint on a brush, not a lot. Don't need too much. And we're going to get in here. You're going to try and be neat with this one because you're getting towards the end of this model being done. But you're also going to put a wash over this Null Oil, which is magic. Witchcraft. Go ahead and cover up the blue that's in there with your bolt gun or lead belcher. Then we're going to go up here. We're going to paint up the edge on the bolter, the non-casing of the bolter. Cool metallic on it. Come on. Gotta put a little bit more on this brush. This is kind of a small brush for this part of what I'm doing, which is semi-large surface areas. Rotate this guy around. And on this one, we're going to do his whole scope. Paint. Again, this doesn't have to be the bolt gun or silver metallic. You can paint these in flat colors to simulate he's supposed to be stealthier. Games Workshop has gone towards more of a tactical look for their Space Marine models recently. Black, Templar is a good color to use for that. Regular Abaddon Black, also a good color. Abaddon Black, you'd have to come back in and highlight. Very, very dark, glossy black. I am going to paint the slide for the discharge chamber handle. And we're going to move up to his barrel. And wherever the sling catch, barrel. Got the trigger guard. This is the basic part. Getting this, just the paint on it. It's going to look okay. The real magic happens when you apply the wash to it. Null Oil, Agrath Earthshade, Sepia. Any of those three washes are probably the best materials that anyone can use to help cheat. It is cheating. Try to keep this part clean because we already painted the housing red. Same on this side. The attachment mount that they put on Space Marine weaponry now. Alright, we got nice good coverage with the metallic, bolt gun metallic. Oh, missed the other little... So that would be a gas return? So it would be on an M16. Alright, so we got our in there, got in there. There's in between the wrist and the forearm. That one's kind of tricky. A stroke down usually works for me. On the other side, so you got inside the elbow. Come on, camera. Camera doesn't want to focus today. It doesn't like me. Inside the elbow here. Nice and shiny. Back here, he's got some spreads around his glutes. Space Marine glutes. Guy can bench press a truck. Underneath. You can really see the whole bottom part is covered with a... Oh, I'm not in frame, am I? Nope. Okay, now I'm back in frame. Oh, got a little paint on the blue. Let's go ahead and get that paint off of there. Before it dries up. Get some water on it. Dab that away with a dry brush. No one will ever notice. No one will ever be the wiser. Did it again. That's twice in a row. Wet the brush. Peel that off. Okay, then we're gonna go ahead and hit his in between the back of the knees and the lower greaves. Now this is some exciting stuff here. Space Marines in the lore are pretty insane. If you're not familiar with Warhammer 40k, 8 foot tall, 400 pound almost, monster, human, transhuman really, not even human anymore. They were human at one point. Process for making a Space Marine has changed over the many, many years that they've had them. Originally, they were all criminals. Very similar to how Marines in StarCraft were depicted. Cabling there. Go to the other cabling on the other side. All the little details, the more details you get, the better your model is going to look, the happier you're going to be with it. And there those are. Cabling is in there. Where's my focus point? There it is. All the way up there. I want to move it. There we are. Now you can really see those details. Camera's a little finicky today. In between the knees, behind the upper thighs, on the under his butt. Anything else that you'd want to paint metallic at this point that you have the paint out, you would also go ahead and do. We're going to hit, let's see, inside little vents. These always get me, honestly, because I always end up either forgetting them, or when I do them, I get paint all over the rims of the vents. All right. And on his face, there are several tubes. It's like the internet, a series of tubes designed to be tube-like. Go ahead and hit that right there. Helps break the face up a little bit. And on the other side. Now these are really optional right there. You don't have to paint these a different color. They can be the blue. Sorry, I was off camera for that. But the more, like I said, the more you pick out, it'll help break the model up. It makes it look a lot better. All right, so we got a painted bolt gun. We got painted silver with some ultramarine symbols on them. And the last thing we're going to do for today is we're going to apply a wash. We're going to make some magic happen. We call them shades now. Nuln Oil Citadel Shade. Put this camera back some here. This stuff is amazing. When it first came out, it was groundbreaking. It continues to stay that way. I'm going to switch over brushes from an extreme detail. The one I was using was a number 0. Where are we? Number 0, Premier Long. And I'm going to switch over to a number 2, watercolor brush. Number 2, Round. This is a watercolor brush you can get at any Michaels, AI Friedman's, if you still have any of those around. Games Workshop does sell brushes. And my camera shut off. Good for it. Oh, I guess that's going to call it for the day. The battery is dead. Don't worry, we got new batteries on the way. So we will finish that up on our next stream, which will probably be Thursday, if not, maybe on Tuesday. So here we go. We got our new. Turn these off. Our Space Marine buddy. All something that you can do. We're going to go ahead and finish him up on our next stream. We're going to go ahead and do some wash on his bolt gun and highlight the red to bring the red out. That's going to really make everything pop. One of the other things we're going to do is we're going to try to pick out the eye lenses, which is very daunting for a lot of people. But it can be done relatively easily. All you need to do is have confidence and cheat a little bit. That's what we're going to do. We're going to cheat. Don't tell anybody. Cheat to win. All right, well, that's going to be it for today. The battery called it on us. So I hope everyone has a wonderful day. If you're in the New York tri-state area, be careful of the snowstorm we're about to get. Apparently, it's a winter wonderland starting tonight and tomorrow. And for all you wonderful people in my chat, have a great day. Thanks for joining me.